Welcome to Multi-Studio Mastery, a show where we nerd out on studio growth, leadership, and operational excellence in boutique fitness. I'm your host, Tessa Thomas, co-founder of Pipeline Solutions. We work behind the scenes with studio owners and operators to streamline back-end chaos, improve retention, and scale sustainably. On this podcast, I sit down with industry leaders, multi-studio owners, and operators in the thick of it, so we can unpack what's really working and what's just noise. If you're building a stronger, smarter studio, you're in the right place. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Multi-Studio Mastery. Today I am joined by Anna Martens. Anna is the COO of Bar3, where she leads operational strategy for product, retail, and digital teams, focusing on supporting franchise owners in building profitable businesses that deliver exceptional client experiences. So Anna joined Bar3 with over 20 years of experience in the outdoor industry and product innovation. And we are super excited to have Anna here today. Thank you so much for joining us, Anna.
Thank you for that introduction. That was a handful, but I am so excited to be here and talk about Bar3 with you.
Yeah, of course. No, I love the intros because I feel like every time I kind of go through an intro, our guest is thinking like, oh, it's too much. But no, we got to let everybody know, your background and what you've been up to. So happy to share that. And, for anyone that is maybe not aware of the brand, can you tell us a bit more about Bar3, kind of the little bit of the history behind the modality and kind of where you are today?
Bar3 is an incredible fitness franchise that was founded over 17 years ago by Sadie and Chris Lincoln, really with this mission to redefine what success in fitness looks like. And what started out as a single studio has now over 201 studios.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes. And we are a franchise model, meaning that we support owners to build a Bar3 studio in their local areas and community to deliver this incredible product. Our product is really unique because it's a blend of cardio, strength, mindful movement. Really, our secret sauce, Tessa, that I'm so proud about is that, for most people, fitness is an obligation and something that they feel like they have to do, something that they're trying to change about themselves. And what happens when our clients come to Bar3 is that they fall in love with who they are today. And they really love to come to our studio. And that just causes this flywheel effect of like, what you'd love to do, you actually do. And now suddenly they have a fitness routine and practice where they feel really great about themselves and they come more and it becomes something they want to do versus have to do.
And, speaking of that and what draws people into bar, we'd love to learn more about what drew you to Bar3 and kind of where your background was before you got into the brand and kind of what pulled you into Bar3.
Yeah, very excited. I actually joined Bar3 during COVID. I come from a background in product innovation in the outdoor industry and in the outdoor product space. I personally am an avid outdoor enthusiast, and fitness has always been my gateway to perform in the outdoors, doing the sports that I love to do. And so it's been a foundation piece of my life. But I first found Bar3 when I was pregnant and realized, all these hard sports that I couldn't do with a big belly in front and sciatic pain and all the things.
Right.
I felt someone recommended you really should go to Bar3. And what I found there was an incredible workout that gave me all the endorphins that I could do while pregnant and carry me all the way into like nearly delivery. So that was initial exposure. But in my professional career, I joined as a VP of product, really as they were looking, how should our product evolve? They've had a singular bar class for so many years. And what does it look like moving forward? I took that lens of like, what does our client need? Right. And during COVID, we got exposed to a lot of different modalities through online fitness. And so I just saw the future of like our client needs not only our incredible signature class, our bar class, but she wants to do deep dives into strength and deep dives into cardio and also flow and mobility. And so that is what I did in the first couple of years there is expanded from one class offering to 4.
Just so I make sure I understand, you went from member to COO of Bar3 within about 3 years. Maybe there's, kind of glossing over some things there, but is that kind of
well, there was some
the A to
timeline in
B?
between there. Yeah, there was some career shifts in between, but
Right.
yeah, I mean, I think I just took my career in product innovation, and when the time was right, Bar 3 had this opening that I just like I needed to jump ship and join the Bar 3 movement.
Amazing. That's incredible. I love that. Speaking of the evolution of the classes and the offering, I'd love to understand, how you balance, as you mentioned, 201 now locations, how you're balancing the growth of the brand, not even just from a location standpoint, but also the offering that's happening within the studio walls with the brand integrity and the community, and trying to keep that all together with that rapid growth, and kind of your strategy behind that.
Yeah, I mean, great question. And definitely one of the challenges as we thought about very seriously about whether or not we wanted to expand our product offering inside our studio walls and in our digital platform was, how do we scale this with integrity? We have never chased trends. We have really chased the needs of our clients. And that has been at the heart of our product innovation pipeline. And also, as we thought about the larger challenge of scaling all these new formats across the network, what does it mean to train and deliver that exceptional class to our clients and deliver the results that they expect from a class uniquely focused on building cardio endurance, or a class focused on building relative strength? We have an incredible training department. And this training department is able to understand, what does it mean to scale? Everything is incredibly thought through, down to like, is it templates, or are instructors in their own classes? What do we need to be successful at that individual studio level?
Right.
Top of mind.
What do you think has been kind of most critical in keeping those operations streamlined and those values aligned, as that studio count grows? Is it, speak of the training team. So is it really coming down to communication, consistent communication, building out maybe LMS systems, or, maybe a little bit more on the tactical side, but what does that, kind of look like day to day?
Yes to analytics and data, and yes to LMS, and yes to operational efficiency, like an operational machine. The combination of all of it is really about simplifying anything that we're teaching and offering down to the most basic level that the owner can translate to the instructors, can translate to the front desk person who's going to tell the client about the new class, as an example. I mean, every step, there are so many different people part of the value stream. And so it's being incredibly thoughtful how you educate at each level.
Right.
And then you need to have really robust checks and balances systems to make sure that everyone is going through the process together, and that we can see where people are progressing. And of course, the whole certification process of validating at the end, and quality assurance that at the end, your product is what it was supposed to be.
If you had to think about kind of those KPIs or operational rhythms, like what are those most important KPIs that you're looking at, or those operational rhythms that you're relying on?
So many of our owners, I'll first say, that come into us, just like our clients do, for love of the product, a love of the brand. It speaks to them authentically. It's moved and changed their lives in this meaningful way. And so this passion piece is, of course, we need to continue to stoke that fire to keep people really inspired and in love with us as the brand in the heart and soul of, their community. And then on the operational side, we really need to make sure that we create really simple metrics that drive the business. And so what our analytics software and investment has done is enabled us to see, like, what is the importance of your first visits? How many new first visits should you have per month in order to get that unlimited memberships that drive your annual revenue? So looking at those different tactics and those different metrics are starting to break down what can look like a really complex business, to say, like, how much do I need to drive and increase my business this year, to know, let's just focus on how many new clients you got in the door this week. Right. How many did you convert to unlimited membership? So really using our analytics to be able to see what are the key metrics that our owner needs to focus on, so they're not overwhelmed by the totality of the business.
If you can find the actions that drive the outcomes, then we can just focus on the actions, and the outcomes will, inevitably take care of themselves if we can align those two things. So
we have just really narrowed down upon that focus this last couple of years. I would say we were driving blind previously to not investing in our analytics. And now I think we're really in a leader in what we know, and translating that information to our owners is really important. Even comparative across the owner network, we've been very shy because we are a very community-based franchise system. We have independent owners. And so traditional tactics of a franchisor would be really to have sales tactics like which franchisor has the most number of sales in this competitive nature. We've steered away from, but actually we're starting to lean into much more sharing because it inspires.
If you're listening and thinking, okay, this is what I need to get a better handle on my operations, then go grab the free Studio Operations Toolkit. It's packed with plug-and-play resources for improving retention, boosting member value, and tightening up your operational backend all in one place. You'll find the link in the show notes, so go ahead and grab it, and let's get back to the episode. So those are the things that are, working well. Of course, I'm sure you've seen all sorts of things over the years of maybe some things that don't scale well. And I'd love to, if you have one or two that come to mind, just anything that, you still see as a challenge.
Well, I think as a franchisor, like our strength is having consistency across the brand. And that can be really tough in like a localized market. And so perhaps it's trends in logoing or color or even class types, like, oh, my client community really wants to jump and hop and et cetera. And that's, we're doing a low impact. And so it's the balance of localization versus standardization. I think that's always going to be a challenge. I do not want to throttle anyone's business. I do want to take the long sight and make sure that we are protecting the clients, ultimately delivering the clients what they need and not chasing a trend, for example. And that might be a color trend in a Bar 3 branded apparel item, or it might be a class that's starting to evolve out of, what it's supposed to be. And then I do think that, scaling, like, okay, we have 4 classes now that a studio can teach. They're not required to. There is a capacity constraint. It's a complexity for studio owners, our franchisees, to train staff, keep on the schedule, talk about, sell, inform, educate. And so keeping that complexity down, I think it's safe to say we're not going to add any more classes to the schedules. Might there be props? For sure. But I think keeping that complexity down is really important.
Speaking to kind of the people, what are the leadership qualities that you think are essential in this industry at the franchisor level, and then, kind of moving into that franchisee level and the kind of in-studio teams?
That's funny you talk about leadership, because we are embarking on performance coaching this year. And some of the areas that we've been trying to understand is what is the importance of a really strong leader at the franchisee level. As these owners come in, they're passionate about the product, they're passionate about the brand. How are they as leaders in their organization? And how important is that to having them be a successful organization or a successful studio at their level? So we believe highly in those leadership skills to ultimately drive their success as a business owner. And then on our side, we started with Chris and Sadie as our founders, and they have been learning and growing along the way. And I think that they have done a phenomenal job of looking at where do they really lean into the business, what are their skills, and where do they need to hire from outside of their purview in order to bring those skills in to grow the organization to where we're at today and into the future.
I think anyone that gets into entrepreneurship or ownership, you quickly realize that you can become the ceiling of your business very easily. So as part of your performance coaching on that mindset side of things, as well as the business side of things, or how are you all approaching that?
A little bit of both. I mean, I think we look at expanding long-term. We say, like, who do we need and what do we need in order to have the best, most successful franchise fleet? And really, we start with passion for the product. We really think that we can teach all of the other key aspects. And there are different ways for people to build those skill sets, whether it's within our organization and what we are going to provide and support you with as an owner. I think we have a lot to offer. And we also have a lot of connections with other companies that can help bolster if you need some additional support in a specific area.
All right. I have a couple quote unquote rapid fire questions to kind of wrap up here. So don't think too hard on them, but if you're game,
I'm
we can do
game.
that.
I
All
love a
right.
little rapid fire.
Perfect. All right. Favorite business book that you think all of your franchisees would get a lot of value out of?
I love Good to Great. It's a really old one, Jim
Yeah.
Collins. Really anything about hospitality. I mean, I go back to foundation of what we are is like every single client that comes in the door, focusing on that client.
Favorite place you've traveled to for work?
Probably nowhere in the middle of nowhere, China, in factories, just because
Wow. Yeah.
it's most enlightening to see how other people live in the world. That's what I'm passionate about, people. So
Yeah.
just seeing what's happening in a very far place.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, imagine that would stick with you forever. The most rewarding part of your position as COO of Bar 3?
Being part of a brand that cares, that is truly authentic and cares about each and every client and really making a difference in their lives.
And if I'm not mistaken, majority or all of your franchisees it's women owned
Yes,
throughout
and
Bar
that's
3?
the
Yeah.
thing. Yes, yes, all of our franchisees are women owned, and so I'm also passionate as a female in a COO role. There's all these ceilings that we got to break through, but we are helping create business owners out of our women leaders at the local level, and that's incredibly exciting to me. Like anytime I can empower and help support a woman like accomplish her dreams, it's awesome.
Yeah, 100%. What shifts are you seeing in the boutique fitness and wellness space in 2025? What's surprising to you, maybe?
I think my biggest surprise is mostly the willingness of maybe not boutique fitness, but in fitness to play in the GLP-1 market and go down that route. Vitamins, nutritional supplements have always been in big box gyms. Yeah, I think I'm a little bit surprising. I can tell you what I think we're going to do is we're going to double down on what we do really well and focus on, our core mission, delivering fitness, transforming lives, and not look for those external revenue streams.
All right, last one, Anna. What are you excited about? What's, kind of front of mind for you through the rest of 2025, heading into maybe even next year? What's exciting for you and the team at Bar 3?
I am really excited to help support our owners into phenomenal growth. I want them to be not only so incredibly excited to go to work every day because it's of their passion, I want them to be also successful business women. And so that is an effort that we're really putting forth is like, how do we help these owners with analytics drive their business, reach more women clients out there and become incredible owners. So we have a good plan in place and that's really our focus. Of course, we're going to continue to expand in studio count and do so, one by one with great new owners. But yeah, I'm really excited to help build the business success of our owners.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on. And for anyone that's, looking to learn more, they can head to bar3.com.
That's right.
And thank you so much for coming on. And I really appreciate you.
Tessa, so nice to be here. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Multi-Studio Mastery. If you're building a studio business you're proud of and these conversations are helping, do us a favor and leave a review. Or send this to someone else in the trenches. Every share helps more owners get insight they need to scale the right way. And don't forget, the free Studio Operations Toolkit is always available in the show notes, along with other resources we've mentioned today. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you next time.